This episode of Tech News Weekly is brought to you by Braintree Payments. Mobile app development can be complex, but integrating your payments no longer has to be. With Braintree, your business can accept nearly every type of payment from any device with just one integration. Learn more, go to braintreepayments.com/TNW.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Everybody, welcome to Tech News Weekly. I'm Andrew Zarin. Of course, I'm joined by the one, the only Suncast. How you doing, John?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Terrible, because I have to now... I thought I fixed my Skype video issue, but apparently I have not. You look phenomenal to me. It's just my video to everybody else looks absolutely terrible.
You know, as long as I look good, that's all that's important.
That's all that matters. Well, another handsome boy with me is Jon Prosser from Front Page.
You're going to get yourself in trouble. What's going to happen?
Oh, what a handsome boy you
back.
are.
Now.
It feels so good to be back.
I know
I've been gone for a while.
You have been gone for a while, and the last time we did a show, I can't even remember because you were gone and I was gone,
right.
And you guys did a show twice.
I
went
to California. You went to California.
Yep. Everybody's been busy.
Here we are.
Busy times, and here we are. We are reunited once again.
And it feels so good.
Guys, we have a lot to talk about today, but before we go into the nitty-gritty of this week's tech news, I want to thank our sponsor, and that's Braintree. Guys, I've been talking about Braintree for, like a year now, and every time I mention it, I get an email back, I get a comment on Twitter, I get a comment on Facebook saying, I implemented Braintree into my website, into my mobile payment solution, the way that we accept mobile payments, and people are so happy with this thing because it makes it so easy for not only the developer but also the business owner, the person that the app is being made for. Braintree is a mobile payment solution, and it makes it super easy for you to accept all different types of payment methods, from Bitcoin to all major credit cards to Apple Pay, to Android Pay. I mean, the list goes on. And if there is a new way of accepting payments, you can implement it very, very quickly. It's only a couple lines of code. 1, 2, 3, it's done. Braintree Code supports Android, iOS, JavaScript clients, SDKs in many, many languages. And the code is absolutely beautiful. It's a very, very easy piece of code. Suncast took a look at the code because we're actually doing something and goes, wow, actually, it's exactly what you say it is. It's very easy to use. So you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to have 10 different ways to implement this. Go to braintreepayments.com/TNW. Check it out. Test drive it. By the way, it's a PayPal company, so you can trust them. braintreepayments.com/TNW. The other thing that I want to mention is that the way that they work is that it's based on a token system. So it's extremely safe for the person purchasing. The credit card's numbers aren't really going anywhere. It's not being stored anywhere. It's a token authentication system, so you don't have to worry about that. It's very, very easy. BraintreePayments.com/TNW. I want to thank Braintree for supporting the show and for, of course, supporting the entire GFQ network because these guys are great. Guys, let's go into a story.
Let's do that.
Suncast, what do you want to? Which story do you want to go into first?
Let's talk about this Verizon plan upgrade thing that they've done. So it was rumored a few days ago, and then, of course, they actually confirmed that this is happening. Verizon is changing their plans once again, where they're upping the amount of data that you get with each plan. Normally, right now, you have like small, medium, large, XL, et cetera, et cetera. So now the small plan, the S plan, is 2 gigabytes, which was originally 1 gigabyte.
Mm-hmm.
M, medium, is now giving you 4 gigabytes instead of 3. And large is giving you 8 gigabytes instead of 6. XL is 16 instead of 12. And double XL is 24 instead of 18. So now that's awesome that they're doing this. That's like a 30% increase in the data that you're getting. However, it does come at a price. The plan's prices have gone up by $5 for small and medium tiers and $10 for the large, extra large, and double XL ranges. And for existing customers, you're fine as you are right now. But if you do want to take advantage of the increase in the data, you will have to opt in to get these new rates and features.
So I actually logged in to Verizon, and I'm doing it right now this morning, and they asked me if I want to switch over, if I want to go to the bigger plans. Right, but strangely enough, I'm getting 10 gigs right now. Like I have an 8 gig plan, but they give me like 2 more gigs for loyalty.
Yeah.
So why would I drop that?
Yeah, you shouldn't. You specifically shouldn't.
No, but
No.
I know they did this for most people at one point. They why isn't it letting me log in? They know I'm
So
talking
they're
about
also
them
doing
now.
They know.
a new data carryover program, similar to what T-Mobile and Sprint already do, where your data, your unused data that you use month to month will now roll over, but only for 1 month. So let's say you only use 1 gigabyte of your 3 or 4 gigabytes that you have. Those remaining 3 gigabytes will roll over to the next month, but then expire at the end of the next month.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat that they're doing this. It's them kind of playing catch up though, because Sprint and T-Mobile and others have long had these sort of features before. They're just now giving it to Verizon, or Verizon decided that they finally want to do this data carryover thing.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like everyone's playing catch up with T-Mobile, and that's really weird to say because when it comes to service, T-Mobile is pretty garbage. And I know there's a lot of people that will argue that, but if it's good for you, that's awesome because it's only good in your area. I can guarantee it. Once you start exploring the world and going 10 feet that way, it's not going to work. That's just how T-Mobile is, and they're going to be that way until they upgrade spectrums for years to come. But it's because of their business model that everything in this market has changed, especially Verizon cutting contracts and stuff like they have. That would have never happened, never, if it weren't for T-Mobile. So it usually goes down the line. Like we had T-Mobile cut contracts, and AT&T kind of tried to do it. Verizon cut them, and then Sprint cut contracts. And T-Mobile's over here giving all this stuff away, and T-Mobile has the rollover data, so you literally just get to keep the data. It doesn't it expires after a year, so it's not like the next month it's just gone if you don't use it. It's rollover throughout the entire year, which is a really, really cool feature. And I think it really says something that Verizon has to play catch up now, being the biggest player in the game. Like, these people make a ridiculous amount of money, obviously. And I'm glad that you are able to like opt in to this, and they're not just forcing your hand to pay $5 extra for the upgraded plan.
So,
but I mean, how many times do you think they're going to do this? Like, I don't even think it's been a year since they announced the no contract thing, and you get the little buckets, and now they're making an upgrade where you have to pay more. So how many times are we going to do this?
Yeah, so I'm looking here at my data, right? I have a 10 gig anytime data, and I'm paying $64. Why would I move up or down? You know? I don't know. You know,
Right.
John, here's the thing about this. When we talk about the data plans, right? Like, are people going over their data plan regularly? Do you think this is? I'm curious
I think when it comes to going over data plans, it's more kids. Like, if you're on a family plan, the kids are the ones that don't really monitor things. Because the adults, honestly, if you're paying for a set amount, chances are you're not going to go over it unless you're doing it on purpose and you know that you're going to pay more and you're just doing it for whatever reason at the time. But it's mostly the kids that aren't paying attention, that don't know how data works, and they're going over stuff. So I guess family plans are a bit different, but like, it would make no sense for you to upgrade.
No.
Like, you specifically, you said you're getting 2 gigs for free because of loyalty or whatever.
And on average, I use about 5 gigs. Yeah, I use about 5 gigs on average.
So you're good.
Yeah, it's interesting. John, T-Mobile really did a good job with this. I think the carryover data is going to be interesting and see how this plays apart, because if I'm using, every month I'm probably going to have an extra 5 gigs, so I'm going to have 15 gigs of data every month, most likely.
Right, and I think it's really cool for someone like us. You're getting ready to travel. You can prepare. You know you're going to leave next month, so you be careful this month. And then the next month, you're going to have a bucket full of data that rolled over so you can use it when you're gone. I think that's really cool if you're conscious about that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It gives you just a little bit more of a buffer there before you run out of your data and get charged extra. They do have this new safety mode tool that they're introducing, where when it activates, you won't incur charges. It'll drop your data speed to 3G when you hit your limit instead of charging you for more high-speed bytes. However, this is only active on XL and double XL plans. If you want this safety mode tool on these smaller plans, the small, medium, and large, you have to pay another $5 for this tool.
Why would you need that on the biggest 2 plans? Why would you need it? This should be for the people that need it every month.
So wait, say that again. Say that again.
Well, on these larger plans,
there's essentially
you're getting like 24
mode.
gigabytes of data, and
yeah,
that's a lot of data. And on these XL and double XL plans, you automatically get this safety mode tool that will throttle your data down to 3G speed, so you don't incur overages.
Yeah.
However, you don't get this on the smaller ones.
Oh, that's so stupid.
You have to pay $5 more for that tool.
Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, safety mode can be enabled whenever, right?
Yeah, you could set the threshold.
So but I mean, like if you wanted to, like if you just wanted to be careful with data, say you were going away at the end of the month and you wanted to conserve data, you could enable safety mode right then and there, and then turn it off when you don't want to use it anymore.
So ridiculous.
But the weird thing is that I didn't know this until Suncast just mentioned it. Like, that makes no sense. This is a tool that is designed for people that need it on the smaller tiers, and somehow someone let it go to the people that have the most amount of data.
That's amazing.
That don't need it.
Yeah, they don't really need it. That's amazing.
It's ironic.
Yeah, it's quite ironic. Let's talk about Google for a second here. Google buys a backbone for pay TV service. This is interesting. It seems like they're getting more and more involved in this. So, John, Suncast, why don't you go into this a little bit?
So Google has acquired a company by the name of Anvato, and this company has designed tech that makes it easy for broadcasters to put video online. The system is already currently in use by plenty of big brand names such as NBC and Fox Sports. The former has it as the backbone for NBC.com, and the other one uses it to stream the Super Bowl. So this is pretty cool. Anvato software and employees will now join Google's cloud platform team, enabling other firms to benefit from what's being called scalable media processing and workflows in the cloud.
Yeah.
Basically, it's for delivering video online.
Right.
And that's what this company specializes in. And if Google is buying that kind of company, one has to wonder what they're working on.
Yeah, well, they've been trying to get into this IPTV platform for some time now, and they have with their Google Fiber plan. But I wonder if they're looking to launch their own online network on, just individually, outside of that. Where you're gonna have online
they
TV.
have Google Fiber, which exists of their internet brand and also TV service that they have with Google Fiber. So I'm just wondering if they're looking to incorporate this to their Google Fiber brand where, okay, well, we have this stuff through IPTV, but we're going to also make this available online.
Or they're looking to get into business like what Sling does and what Apple's rumored to do and all these other services where they're an online carrier, they're an online cable network, essentially, cable brand. And you're just paying them the $30 a month, and you're getting access to all these channels, and they would use this as the backbone to it. Jon Prosser, what do you think?
I think it's cool. I mean, it can do nothing but improve whatever they're trying to do. I mean, this could go a couple different ways. They could be working on something new to push out, and this is like, the new backbone for it, or they're just trying to improve what they already have and what they're already working on, and it's just kind of a way to just swoop up the competition and use those people to their advantage instead of trying to figure it out themselves. When you bring the whole team to Google, you're going to get more answers than you would have without them. And I mean, this could be used for a lot of different things. I mean, it could be used for the like pushing pay-per-view stuff or editing in the cloud or whatever. Like it has been used for in the past. But I mean, even now, if we dial it down to like even the more simple stuff, Google's been trying to fix YouTube Live for a lot of different reasons. So I think this is just a way they can kind of bring that team in and hopefully address a lot of the problems. Not to say that like this is they're going to target one specific market and do one specific thing with it, but I think it's more just to bring that team in, to bring that technology in, because they have to address a lot of live streaming issues online. Just not with just YouTube Live, but I mean, like Suncast said, that I mean they're planning stuff for the future as well. So I think it's more of an advantage for them to bring this team in to help them and this technology in to help them with all this other stuff. It's kind of like how Twitch, right? The website was great, the technology was great, they just didn't have the backbone for it, so they brought in or they allowed themselves to be acquired by Amazon, which Amazon in this case does have the technology, they have the resources, they have the money that Twitch needed. So I think that this is just a knowledge set and a feature set that Google needed, so they brought the team in.
You know what? That reminds me. Let me ask you, because you use Twitch. Have you noticed a difference in quality since the Amazon acquisition?
No, not really.
No, okay.
No.
I didn't.
It kind of really depends because, like, for a while, they've been allowing source output. So, like, if you wanted to watch a stream, you could select source instead of like 480p or 720 or 1080. You could just you could just grab the source, exactly what was being streamed out. And that's always sort of worked for me. I think it's really kind of hard to tell, honestly, with my internet connection because I can handle it. But maybe if someone had less of an internet connection, that's when they're depending more on what Twitch is putting out, and maybe that's more noticeable for them.
Yeah, very interesting. So to kind of stick with the television and cable IP conversation, Comcast will start putting Netflix on all of its set-top boxes on the X1 set-top box sometime later in 2016. They announced this last week, and I guess this is their way of embracing these online brands, you know, like Netflix and Hulu. I predict we're going to see more of these. You know, the competition is getting really stiff, so why wouldn't Comcast try to hang on and try to do something like this? I would imagine Comcast is going to get a piece out of everybody that signs up within their TV to Netflix. I think that'll probably be part of it.
That would make sense.
You know what I was thinking? This is going to lead to Comcast and and all the other cable providers to possibly start being resellers of these services, of Hulu and Netflix. You know, they could start selling the packages within their packages. So you could buy the just the local channels package and then also add Hulu and Netflix to your package. This is where I see it headed. Now, John, Suncast, you have Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this? What can you say about this?
That's great for the people that don't know anything about what they're doing, and it's just there for them.
Exactly.
That's great for that. I've never been a fan of Comcast set-top boxes. I've always found them to be pretty junky and very slow, much like, the integrated internet stuff that you find on smart TVs. It's the same deal with these cable-provided set-top boxes where I just don't think they're that great compared to actually buying something like an Apple TV, a Roku, or a Fire TV. And so I would almost rather have a Fire TV or one of these other set-top boxes to run that stuff with rather than my cable box. It would be great if all of this was integrated into one box, yes. However, the problem is that these boxes that the cable companies provide have never been very good. And that's my biggest problem, that even the cable box that I have from Comcast now, it's just not easy to use. It's so slow to respond.
No,
some say that
good.
Some of these newer X1 boxes are better, but I haven't found it.
Do you have the X1 box?
Yeah, I have one of them.
Yeah,
it's not one with DVR, but it is an X1 box.
Yeah.
And it is slow.
This is a
agonizingly
response.
Slow.
This is a response to the rumors that Apple's going to get into the TV business, and Amazon is going to get into the TV business right now, and this is their way of
It's
trying to be
almost like they're
competitive.
staving off the inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, but they do have an advantage here, right? If they could create a decent enough box where you're using their service and not Apple, and you're connected to your TV stuff, everything is integrated in one. Yeah, it's gonna keep them going. It's gonna extend the life of the traditional cable service. My biggest problem, and the reason why I'm not a total cord cutter, is because the quality of online IPTV live broadcasts are it's not the same as cable or Fios or whatever.
And Comcast is notorious for that too. Comcast has the ability to watch some channels online. It's not great.
No, it's not, because they're compressing the crap out of it.
Yeah, but they're basically delivering it at like 1.5 megabits per second.
Yeah.
Compared to what you see on TV, which is generally around 10 to 15 to 20.
I think they have to. I don't blame these internet
totally
providers.
agree.
They have to provide. They have to do 1.5 because most people can't. God knows what they're doing. People are walking around with their laptops hundreds of feet away. I mean, like 1,000 feet away from the router, and then they're complaining that their signal's weak. So they have to offer. If they're offering online TV, you got to offer it at a lower bit rate.
Another reason why not to use the Comcast provided router.
Yeah, well, that's another reason, but.
Don't get me wrong here. I love the internet service that I get from Comcast because nobody else comes close to the speed that I'm getting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm curious to see how well they do. I'm really interested in Sling TV. Have you guys looked at this?
Yeah,
I've looked into
have
it.
Sling.
Go ahead, Jon Prosser.
I have Sling.
You have Sling, and what do you think of it?
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, it's really convenient. I wouldn't say that it's the best, but I mean, you can get it on any device almost nowadays. And even if you can't, if you just download the app, like I have the app on my phone, and whenever, like I can watch whatever on my phone, and if I want to, I'll just cast it to the TV with the Chromecast, and it's super easy, super convenient. I was able to watch Game of Thrones live with that because I had the HBO package, and that was just a cool thing because that's the only reason I got it. Game of Thrones was coming back for the season premiere, and I didn't want to buy cable again. Like, I just cut the cord a year ago. I didn't want to buy cable and get this big HBO package and pay a crap ton of money for, 2-3 months? So I got Sling, and I stuck with it because it's actually pretty good. When I want live TV, it's there. But I think that, like, Comcast, I totally agree, Andrew. Like, this is something they have to do. They're adapting, because if they don't, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
This is all about convenience. They're selling convenience. They're not selling Netflix. They're selling the convenience here.
Because you're staying in their ecosystem. I mean, and the more you stay in there, the less likely you will.
I mean, imagine. Okay, someone says, "Okay, I'm going to cut the cord. I'm going to get a Roku." Okay. What apps do I get on the Roku? Oh, well, you get Netflix and Hulu and stuff. Well, what about live TV? That'll be figured out in like the future. Like, we're working on it. It's getting pretty good now. Or Comcast could say, well, just get Comcast. You get Netflix. You get Hulu. You get all these apps on our set-top box. And if you want live TV, it's there too.
Yeah.
You can get it all in one. So they're selling convenience here, and it's really interesting because, like Spotify, I'm wondering if this is going to work. You said something interesting, Andrew. You wondered if they were going to charge, which would make sense if they somehow worked a way around and charged for the convenience of it. Because so on iOS devices, if you get Spotify, you pay Apple. Like, Apple takes a cut of that.
Yeah.
And you pay like $1 or $2 more for Spotify every month. Or if you know what you're doing, you could just go online and sign up for Spotify Premium and download the app on your iOS device and sign in. You're fine.
But again, it's convenience, right? It's convenience.
Right. But the average person won't think about that. They're not going to think about that. They're just going to be like, oh, I get Netflix? Okay, how much money do you want?
Yeah.
And they're going to give the money.
I'm curious as to this whole convenience factor, if it's going to, if people are just going to continue purchasing the stuff throughout, through the set-top box. Like, it's the same mentality as you buy a TV, you buy a Vizio, and you don't even think about getting an Apple TV because you have all these apps there. Yeah, it's running like crap, but most people don't even know. They have no idea it's running like crap.
Right.
That's what it comes down to for me is the overall experience of this. And I just question whether or not that experience is going to be better than what you would get if you were to have a Roku or a Fire TV or an Apple TV.
Probably not. Probably not. Most likely not.
I'm pretty happy with the Fire TV I have. It's a first gen, but it works pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, no one. This is not going to work as well, but no one's going to know. The average consumer is just not going to know. Like, it's going to take more people like you and me to hammer this in the heads of the consumer that this is not. They could get a much better experience, probably for a lower price too, but they'll never know.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this works and if other platforms start integrating stuff like this. Because I'll tell you, Verizon set-top boxes are absolutely terrible. I know almost every cable provider set-top boxes are terrible. I'm not too sure about Google TV yet. I've never heard anybody complain about it or say anything good about it, so I have no idea. BlackBerry, guess what, John? Suncast, I'm so sorry. BlackBerry's finally moving away from its classic smartphone. BlackBerry is finally throwing the towel on its smartphone OS BlackBerry 10. OS BlackBerry 10 was their old software, right? So what was running with that, John? Suncast?
What was running with that?
Yeah.
Crap.
But what did
Okay, so this was like, so BlackBerry kind of like dwindled off, and then in 2013, because I remember this because it was the very first episode of my show, Front Page Tech. The very first episode, I did a story about BlackBerry 10. They were gonna put out a brand new BlackBerry device running a brand new platform called BlackBerry 10.
Yeah, and I loved it. It was very good.
But did you,
Yeah.
Andrew? Did you love it? Because I feel like you didn't. I feel like this is a lie.
I thought it was a very good operating system when I initially.
Well, here's the problem. They had BlackBerry 10, and I remember before it launched on the first device, they were boasting about how many apps it had. It was going to launch with like 100,000 apps.
Yeah.
And then we found out that within BlackBerry 10, they were almost creating a virtual environment and then forking apps from Android over to BlackBerry 10.
And it ran like crap.
They ran terribly.
Which
And
is something that they did with the BlackBerry Playbook, the tablet that they had built. Is they had come up with the idea of, all right, we know we're building this new operating system and this new tablet, and we need applications for it. The best way we can come up for that is to create a way to easily port over Android apps. Right. However, it never really worked out very well for apps that were ported over.
No, it did not. So they are going full-fledged Android. That is it. They are gonna.
I believe they have 3 devices planned for the future, and they will all be running Android. I think one's going to have like a keyboard, an actual physical keyboard, and the other 2 will just be touch screens.
Typical BlackBerry. They're going to release one new phone every quarter for the next 3 quarters.
Which they should not be doing that.
No, Andrew, they shouldn't. Like, they are in this way too late. If they would have done this in 2013, they would be fine. But they held on too long. They turned away their main core demographic, their main customer that doesn't want a BlackBerry anymore. And there's no way in hell you're going to convince someone that is using an HTC 10 or a Samsung Galaxy S7 or an iPhone to just drop it and go to a BlackBerry device at this point.
Well,
there's no way. You can't do that.
The whole story is sad because you had Jim Lazaridis and Jim Balsillie as the co-CEOs of BlackBerry, and they really ran that into the ground where they were too slow to adapt to the iPhone. And so they ended up selling and leaving to SoftBank CEO John Chen. John Chen had created, I believe, or they had just created and did BlackBerry 10. And so they wanted to see that through before they made any major changes. And because they stuck with BlackBerry 10, that prolonged the death of BlackBerry. And so now they're finally at that point where, oh, yes, now we finally realized that BlackBerry 10 wasn't very good either. And, we're just going to go straight to Android.
I mean, the fact of the matter is it's QNX, and QNX is actually a very good platform. And that's the most astonishing thing. The platform QNX had a great feature with BlackBerry if they had implemented it early on.
There's
QNX
so
is, by
much
the way, in every
mismanagement and poor management overall of BlackBerry.
Yeah,
QNX.
There was no foresight. They could not see where the market was going. It's like they had blinders on and they just weren't willing to adapt. And it's really sad because now they're going to waste.
Well, it's
money.
not only that they couldn't adapt; it's that they couldn't execute as well. because even the stuff that they were putting out in a delayed strategy where BlackBerry 10 came out like almost a year late.
Yeah.
Their
I mean,
own
okay, so
plan
we
that
just-
they
we
had
just-
come up with was almost a year late.
We just found out as well that because they're doing this, so BlackBerry essentially sent a letter to Verizon saying they're discontinuing BlackBerry 10 and the device is running BlackBerry 10. And then Verizon contacted staff members of the Senate because the Senate, all staff members of the Senate are running on BlackBerry because it's more quote unquote secure.
They're using BlackBerry
And-
10.
And now, because they're doing this, a letter was sent out to staff members of the Senate saying they will no longer be moving forward with BlackBerry, and now they're going to have to decide between another platform, iOS, Android, or who knows, Windows Phone, maybe, possibly. But that's just like that. That's really telling right there. I mean, these people have been with BlackBerry for years because it was trusted, and now the BlackBerry is moving away from it. They're not going to do it. Now the phones themselves are being discontinued. The system itself is being discontinued, but they will continue to support it with some updates for people that are still running it on an existing device. And there are like a limited amount of like the Z10 and Z30 or whatever the phones were that run BlackBerry 10. So I mean, you could still buy one for now until they're out, if you want it.
Yeah, I'm curious what the Senate will do, what the government's going to do.
Well, I mean, I think the only logical answer is an iPhone, which is not the safest, but it's way more safe than it's safer than Android for sure. And I'm an Android user, and I'm okay with saying that because Android's just not like if you don't know what you're doing with an Android device, you can really screw yourself.
Yeah. I would go with iOS. That's what I always recommend
Right.
people. John, go into another story.
All right, so Microsoft is launching Skype Meetings, a new group video chat tool. Microsoft has unveiled a free HD Skype tool for small business users called Skype Meetings. It runs on a browser and will let you meet with up to 10 people for the first 60 days and a maximum of 3 after that. Users can also share screens and PowerPoint presentations, and the organizer can wield a virtual laser pointer or mute users. Such features are already available with Skype Business, but that app requires a paid Office 365 subscription. And with Skype Meetings, how you can have anybody with a link join one of these meetings.
So they're going WebRTC, right? That's what I'm guessing. And I'm really afraid that they're going to kill their client, their desktop client. I really, really think this is what's going to happen. I don't know. Anybody else getting that feeling?
I hope not, because WebRTC is not ready for prime time. It's still very underdeveloped. Yes, it exists, and there are some applications out there that utilize it, but in large part, WebRTC is still very underdeveloped and experimental, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I absolutely hate it. It's going to ruin things for me. John, you guys use Skype, right?
Right.
Yeah, so can you imagine just the client going away and just using this web-based Skype?
I mean, that would be terrible. I think that, Hangouts is essentially that way, and I think it works fine. But we really depend on it being, desktop friendly. But the scary part is we aren't the average consumer, which I know is like a term that keeps getting thrown around, but we're just
mobile,
not.
right?
And they aren't thinking about us. They're not we aren't the main priority here. So we're very specific.
That's why I'm sending you 320 by 180 video right now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
That explains it. I'm a little scared about that, but it's I guess this is their way of competing with Google Hangouts.
Right.
I actually would not
To be
mind
fair,
testing it.
they are working on a Skype version that is existing on the web that's in beta right now. However, it doesn't have some of these features that Skype Meetings has, such as the
Right,
link
it's very
creation
limited.
tool, the presentation stuff. But it does not still hold a candle to what you can do with the desktop application, where you can actually meet with up to 25 people.
With the desktop,
free.
is that how it is?
Yeah, on the desktop, you can have a group video call with up to 25 people.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Whereas this new Skype Meetings tool, up to 10 people for the first 60 days for free, and then a maximum of 3 after that.
Wonderful.
So if you need to meet with more than 3 people, this is not going to work for you.
You know, this reminds me of a little story. I had a very quick meeting with one of the developers of Skype, okay? The people on the team. And this is a couple of years ago. And we were talking about Skype and how we implement it. And, you know, I brought up some concerns. And this was his response. Just like that. He goes, I know. He goes, it's all over the place. That is the greatest response I've ever gotten from a developer. They just went like this, just like this. I know. I know. I'll never forget. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was going to get some sort of reasoning as to why it doesn't work the way that I want it to work.
No.
No,
Of course you're not.
No, he just shrugged his shoulders and pretty much said, yeah, I know. Sucks.
It's intended to suck, Andrew. Didn't you know? That was their intention.
It's
their
a feature.
intention is to have these bugs.
It's a bug. It's not a bug.
The bugs are intended.
It's a feature.
It's a feature.
Yeah. So, guys, I want to show something cool before we wrap it up today, okay? I decided that I was going to, I guess, clean out all my PCs. You know, dust builds. It gets really crappy inside. These things are in the basement, in the server. The server room's right next to my laundry room, so you can imagine how dusty these machines get. And one of the machines was running at like, what was the max that it hit? 98 Celsius? It was like at 200. It was at like a boiling point at this point. It was at like 200 and something degrees. So I was gonna buy like the canned air, and did you know that you cannot get canned air primed overnight?
That's weird.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
Yeah, you cannot. There's no canned air that's primed. So I needed this like overnight. So one of my friends, Brian, suggested that I totally skip the canned air thing and I buy one of these. Look at this thing. This thing is awesome. So it's pretty much a compressor and it blows air. I have a compressor in my garage, but like I don't want to use it. Sometimes water gets in the lines. It's the whole thing. So this thing is awesome because it comes with all these nozzles and all these different, connections to it. I actually just got a package with more accessories for it. But yeah, you want to see it? Do you guys want to see it?
Oh, this is amazing.
Hold on. Let me get this. I'm gonna go get it.
So they hooked him pretty good there. So it's like he got suckered into buying all these extras for it.
I did. You know what?
And Andrew's a clean freak. So of course he has to have the accessories.
Look at all these nozzles.
Oh my god!
I actually also did get the Screen Mom natural screen cleaner. I don't even know I don't remember ordering that. So look, these are all the accessories and the nozzles and the hose that you can connect to it. And
oh my god!
Like it's actually awesome. It's really really good. So I took this. It wasn't $60 when I got it. How much is it now? Is
$57?
No, it wasn't. It was like $34 when I got it.
It's $57. I looked up the model that you told me it was.
No, it was in the 40s when I got it, so the price probably went up. So don't just wait on it. There's other ones. There's other ones, guys. You could get a cheaper one.
I'm gonna go to Camel right now and look at it.
Okay. Maybe I had to pay that. I have no idea. But the reason why I got it is because it had the best reviews, and a lot of times these kind of compressed air things, they're not strong enough, and this one was very strong. So I took all the computers outside. I mean, the dust that was coming out of these things was ridiculous. So the machine that was running I could have just bought canned air, I know, but I never have it around. I never have the canned air. I never have that.
You must have used
Plus,
like
you'll never
credit
have
or
to worry about
something.
buying it again.
What do you mean? Why? It hasn't dropped in price?
No.
You know what?
It's been $57 since February 20th.
Okay, so you know what I did? I'm a jerk. I ended up buying the wrong one. I'm looking at my Amazon thing right now, and I have a different one. I have a cheaper one in my like later pile. So either way, it doesn't matter. You could get any of them, right? There's tons of them out there. but this is the one that I got, and it's made in America, so that's probably why I'm paying $20 more for it. But I took out all the computers and I cleaned them all out, and this is a good life lesson for everybody. And everybody should do this. You have to clean these things out because it literally, the computer was running at 90 whatever. At idle, it was like 84 Celsius. Now it's running at 45.
Huh.
So it totally dropped
Right.
in the price. But listen, there are other ones. This one I got because a friend recommended it to me, and they said it was probably the best one that they've tried. You could try other ones. I don't know how good they're going to be. Oh my God, there's like so much dust underneath. Look at this. Look at this. This is all from cleaning. Wow. There's a filter probably got it. So guys, go check it out. I thought it was a cool thing. They suckered me in with all these accessories too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. There's a link in the chat. Sunkast just posted a link for it, but you guys can go and look.
No,
at it.
the one you bought is the price that I see on the website.
That's how much it was. I thought I paid like 40 something bucks.
Yeah, you were wrong.
You did.
I was very wrong.
Real quick, I want to bring up. So there was a story that John posted about data breach for Wendy's and some of the stuff. That's whatever. That sucks for those people. But there's a very big issue going on right now, specifically happening to YouTubers. So
Okay.
Andrew,
Yes.
I'd look out for this,
Okay.
like hardcore. People are getting hacked hardcore left and right now. And no one knows exactly who's doing it. It's probably a kid down in their mom's basement just being an asshole. But like the major players are getting hacked. So major YouTubers have gotten hacked, and literally the people have gone in and flat out deleted their YouTube channel.
Wow.
Just went into the account and deleted it all. They get access to every single thing. Linus Tech Tips, who's one of the biggest tech YouTubers, had everything hacked. His Twitter, his websites, everything was hacked. And everyone was wondering how, because like he has two-factor authentication on everything. How do you get past that? Well, now it's kind of slowly coming out how these people are doing it. Again, we have no idea who they are. But I think it's like really important for Andrew, for John, like anyone doing podcasting, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah. So how are they doing it?
Okay, so these people are calling. They'll find out, like, okay, Andrew, you have Verizon. They find out you have Verizon,
Yeah.
and they call Verizon, and they claim to be a store employee with Verizon, and they say that they have you right next to them, and they want to transfer your SIM card.
Okay, wait a minute. So they will call Verizon.
Right.
And claim to be who?
An employee of Verizon.
So they'll
working at a store.
Working at a store. So they're the store. They're pretending to be the store, and they're calling regular people.
Right. Like they'll get the exact store's address.
Yeah.
They can make it look legit. They'll call and say, "Hey, I work at this store. I have Andrew Zarian right next to me, and he wants to transfer a SIM. Can we transfer the SIM here?" They give them a new phone number, which is a phone that the hacker has, and they'll get your SIM card. They'll get your phone deactivated. They'll get your SIM card activated on their phone, so now they have your phone number, which then that phone starts to sync all of your contacts, all of your emails, and everything. They have everything they need.
Wow.
And from there, if you have two-factor authentication on, they'll just get an email or a text, and it'll show up on that phone. They'll get into whatever account they want to, and that's just if you have two-factor auth on. If you don't, then it's even easier. They'll just go into everything. They have your email.
So
they
how
have
are they
everything.
getting? How are they getting your password?
They don't need it.
They don't need it
Everything is
because
syncing.
because of two-factor authentication.
So if they don't, let's say usually an app will sync onto your phone, they can just open and go into it.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, all they have to do is say forgot password, and you'll get an email with your new password in it. But you won't. The hacker will, because he has your information. He's logged into your email address.
Oh,
So he'll
okay.
get the
So
email.
I get what you mean.
It's
So you're
especially
saying
worse if it's
like
connected to your
the
phone.
backup from the cloud. So let's say like the
Right.
iCloud backup that's syncing in.
And it's worse for Android too. And that's only if you have email set up. A lot of people just have it connected to their phone number because that's more secure, and that's what they have. So they'll get a text with a code that they have to put into Twitter and boom, they're in, or
So
whatever
I mean
account they need to.
that's a grand scheme of biblical proportions to deactivate someone's YouTube. So what
it's
is
going on right now? Like this is a big thing right
so
now.
why are they
cannot find who's doing it?
why?
Because they're assholes. They just they want to cause chaos. They want I mean, keep in mind they could get into your banking account if your phone number's connected to your bank.
Sure.
They can get into anything. Like they have your phone number, that's it.
So I
like,
mean, technically, I mean, Verizon or the carrier is really responsible for this.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will so it's been said that Verizon or the latest one was T-Mobile. T-Mobile was like, well, no, we're not going to give you this information. So the person just hung up and called a new T-Mobile office. They'll just keep trying until someone gives them the information they want. So the best thing for YouTubers or really anyone that could be affected by this is to call your carrier and say, don't allow any changes to my account without me there in person with you, or set up a passcode, something.
Interesting. This is a very. I'm trying to understand better why go through all of that to delete someone's use. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's so many steps to take.
Right, but I mean, it's worth it to some people. Like they just want to be an asshole. They want to be the person that took you offline. That's all. That
is scary. That is really, really scary.
Right. There was, I mean, the biggest when I was in California 2 weeks ago, there was one of the YouTubers there is a gamer tech YouTuber, Boogie2988.
Yeah.
He has a channel with 2.5 million subscribers. He woke up one day, everything's gone.
Wow.
Whoever got in just deleted it. Just went in, because you can go into the YouTube settings and delete a channel, and that's what he did. Just completely wiped every video, the entire channel completely. He got his Twitter hacked and everything.
So,
luckily at VidCon there was a Google employee there that got a backup of the channel. But I mean, that was just luck that he was able to talk to someone at Google to get it back up.
Does Google have backups of the channels? I mean, do they have the ability
obviously, Google's constantly backing up their websites all the time. They have a backup, I guarantee, of every minute almost.
I mean, it's terrible, but I would imagine that it's even worse for the fact that all your photos, all your text messages, everything,
right,
is synced.
I mean, and then okay, so here's the really shitty part, right? So if they get your information, Andrew, imagine the phone numbers you have on your phone. Imagine the contacts: Spencer, Brian Brushwood, all these.
I don't have any of those people's phone numbers.
That's what I'm saying. They could get those phone numbers and then get the other people. It's that easy.
So what do you recommend? How this actually goes into a deeper conversation. Two-factor authentication, it's way more secure, but sometimes it's not. And
I mean, for the everyday issue, two-factor authentication will get you through. But this is even deeper. This will get people through two-factor authentication. This is a solid way around it. So the only way you can prevent this is to literally call your carrier as soon as possible and tell them, do not make any changes to my account.
But even if you're not a YouTuber,
target.
Are they specifically going after YouTubers right now, or are they just going after whoever they want?
It's popular personalities. They want it to look like an epidemic where YouTubers are going down left and right.
Yeah,
that's the thing right now. But I mean, imagine how much trouble you're gonna have if you're not a YouTuber. If you're just an average person, this could happen. It's not just YouTubers that have a job, right? So anyone could be affected by this. Hackers want money mostly. So I mean, they could get into any.
Yeah, I imagine there's a bigger story here where it will most likely be some sort of ransom that they're gonna hold on people, saying we're gonna release all this stuff on you if you don't give us, whatever.
Right. The best thing you can do is to contact your carrier and say, don't allow anything to happen without my permission, some sort of passcode. Maybe it's best if you're just there in person. I mean, if you say don't make any changes unless I'm there in person, that makes it a little less convenient for you. But I mean,
I wish there was some sort of life alert or life lock for services like this.
Well, that's someone. So the latest person that just got hacked, I just watched a video about it. They knew that this is a thing. They knew it was happening, and he said he was just out. He was at a Starbucks, and he went to make a call, and his service was off on his phone, and he automatically knew. He automatically knew they shut him down, and now they have a SIM card. So he called T-Mobile and said, "Hey, I'm getting hacked right now. I need you to transfer my SIM card back to me. And the lady was like, okay, we can do that for you. By the way, if you're interested, we have this free app. And he was like, offering him all these promotions. And he's like, no, now. Like, so these carriers don't even understand how serious this is right now.
No, they most likely will not. Man, that's scary. So when did this start happening? At VidCon?
2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
really, is when it like really took off. So,
that's
I mean, I hate
terrifying.
to give anyone like this is what the hackers want. They want us to talk about it and they want to get attention. But I mean, like, you have to because you got to the only way to beat them. If no one's finding out who these people are, the only way to beat them is to stay one step ahead. So, I mean, you got to protect your accounts.
Thank you, John, for that, actually.
You're
But that's a very good breaking news story. Suncast, do you want to do the plugs?
Not really.
Oh, my God. Fine, whatever. I'll do it. Guys, go to our website, gfqnetwork.com. Subscribe to us. We're everywhere podcasts are available. Subscribe to all our shows. Go to Front Page Tech. Check them out. Jon Prosser's doing some phenomenal stuff. You're doing like 10 shows, and they're all on GFQ now.
I am on GFQ.
How
How long have we been doing this?
For like a year now, no?
Yeah,
No.
Really?
No,
Yeah,
no.
It's
January.
it's
When are you coming to New York?
Whenever you want me to come to New York.
Come to New York. Let's hang out.
Okay, fuck it, dude. I'll do it.
Let's get
You think I
loaded.
won't?
GFQ meetup in
I'll do it.
August.
Yeah, let's get loaded.
There's a
and-
meetup in August.
Yeah, we'll get nude, rub each other
Why,
down
why,
with
why don't
butter.
you come to
That's
Ohio?
perfect.
I don't go to Ohio.
You don't.
I'm not going to Ohio. No, we should plan something. You know what? We should definitely plan something.
For sure.
Yeah,
Let's do
you
it.
know what? Off the air, we'll talk more.
Okay, sounds good.
Follow John on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
At Jon_Prosser.
And then Front Page Tech is also on Twitter, obviously.
Yes, at Front Page Tech.
At Front Page Tech. Suncast on Twitter. Follow him. Guys, if you're looking for someone to edit your podcast, to help you with your website, to help you with your audio, your video, he is a one-man shop. He does everything here at the GFQ Network, and you could hire him too. You could look as good as me. If you want to hire John, you could contact him on Twitter at Suncast. You could, and then he'll, give you information after that. But
I'll even do your makeup.
he'll even do your makeup and make
More
you look pretty.
bronzer.
More bronzer for everybody. Guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zarin. You can follow me everywhere, on Facebook, whatever. We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.